Now, book 5, Kyren, Fall of the Light, was planned to be my final book. A lot of life happened between 2019 and 2024, excuse me, when I was able to finally finish Fall of the Light. I felt like this is a good place to stop. I don't want to burn things out. It's not like the books are super popular or anything. This was more of a passion project, but in the same breaths that I was saying, I think this is where I'm going to end it, I think I was also inspired to keep it going even further. I think I ended up unintentionally falling in love with my world again after taking half a decade off from working on the books. And you can see it with the cover here. There's book 1. If you look at book 1 and book 2, they mirror themselves. And it's supposed to show like the progression of time and the brightness in that original journey and the youth. Her hair is down. You can see the colors in here that are, I wanted it to represent like that beginning of a new universe type thing. And then in book 5, you see that same silhouette. Her hair is pulled back. You can't see that her hair is pulled back, but her hair is pulled back and it's darker. The colors are meant to signify like that coming to an end. With the first book being The Light of Amla, you can see that she's supposed to be representing the light. With Fall of the Light, when I was intending on it being the final book, I was like, I think this is a great way to symbolize the story that I'm trying to tell with what the character, what Kyren is going through in this book. I think it was a great decision at the time. I still stand by that. I really love that they kind of bookend each other, because with that first 5 books, it really was like, okay, here it is, I'm done. So, you know, time will progress and there will be book 6, book 7, book 8, however many spin-offs I do or whatever. But, you know, I'll always be able to look back and see this was my original planned bookend. And I say planned, but loosely planned by the time, you know, I started working on this book, where it was like, okay, let's call it here. In Fall of the Light, it does explore that story. It does explore an ending to a certain degree. It is by all an ending. I feel like a well-deserved one, but being me, I did, like I said, I fell back in love with this series that I worked on. I just felt like I had so much more to say and so much more to share and bring to the world with this series. So to the point where I want it to be a franchise. I really love what Fall of the Light became after all those years, because it did have a couple variations. The original version of Fall of the Light is not the version that I ended up writing. I have this notebook where I've written down by hand all of my book notes for, I want to say books 1 through 6, books 1 through 5 for sure. I think book 6 I ended up doing on my iPad in my notes app. And I just remember when I was working on this one, looking at those notes and then seeing where like, oh, I can expand on this. Well, I don't need this section. I don't think that's a good decision to make for these characters. Doing all those rewrites and then finally sitting down and going, okay, I've put it off long enough. I know it's going to take me a long time to finish. Regardless, I need to finish it. So I was able to really sit down and really enjoy the process with this one, appreciate the journey from book 1 to book 5. Fall of the Light is also available Amazon, Barnes & Noble, paperback, and e-readers.